Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into a story that is, honestly, the textbook definition of the classic hero's journey. We are going to analyze the incredible path of a young boy named Kushal. His story is called Iman Dar Chanawala, the honest chana seller, and as you'll see, his unyielding integrity ends up transforming not just his own life, but an entire community. It's a brilliant, deeply moving look at how character quite literally shapes destiny.
Okay, let's dive into this with a really powerful question. Can a simple chickpea seller actually change his destiny and the story of an entire railway station through sheer honesty alone? I mean, it sounds like a pretty tall order, right? But this question perfectly sets the stakes for everything we're about to unpack. Kushal's story isn't just about trying to make ends meet. It's about how holding on to your core values, especially when you have absolutely nothing left, can actually become your greatest weapon. All right, so every hero's journey kicks off with a call to adventure, usually one the hero really doesn't want. That brings us to Section 1, the family's great struggle, because an unexpected tragedy is about to completely shatter Kushal's peaceful world. So picture this. Kushal is this incredibly dedicated student, staying up late to study, while his dad, Pratap, is working these just grueling, back-breaking hours at a factory. One day, totally overcome by the extreme heat and exhaustion, Pratap collapses. He's permanently injured. He can never do heavy labor again. And the aftermath? 400 rupees. That's it. After years of sweating for this company, a totally apathetic factory manager shows up at the hospital and hands Kushal's mom a mere 400 rupees as a final settlement. It's a shockingly, brutally low compensation for a life-altering injury. They literally don't even have enough money for salt now, let alone rent or expensive medicines. Now, what's really interesting here is Kushal's reaction. Look at this promise he makes to his despairing parents. I promise I won't let father lack medicine or you lack food. Uttered in that tiny, tense hospital room, this is the exact moment his identity shifts. He's no longer just a kid prepping for his 12th grade exams. He steps up to become the sole provider. He takes the entire weight of his family's survival onto his shoulders. And that promise, it catapults him right into his new world. Section 2, a new beginning at the station. Armed with literally zero business experience, he steps out onto those chaotic, bustling platforms. So he comes up with this intense dual grind strategy. His only assets are some farm-fresh chickpeas they grew on their small plot of land, and this very special, almost magical spice mix prepared by his mom. During the day, he's walking miles up and down the trains, physically exhausting himself, calling out to passengers to buy fresh masala chana for just 10 rupees a plate. But the hustle doesn't stop there. He gets home dead tired and battles the mental strain of studying late into the night. He refuses to let his dream of passing his exams die. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole dynamic that quickly develops at the station. On one side, you've got Kushal, our protagonist, winning people over with fresh homemade spices, totally honest work, and a polite smile. On the other side, you have Modi, the established antagonist of the station. Modi sells stale samosas, he's incredibly jealous, and he relies entirely on manipulative tactics. Kushal's instant popularity starts eating right into Modi's profits, which sets the stage for an inevitable, explosive clash. But before that clash happens, we get this vital character moment. At the end of a really tiring day, Kushal has some leftover chana. Now, instead of hoarding it or saving it for tomorrow, he freely gives it away to a starving, ragged beggar named Ramu. He even tells Ramu that sharing brings blessings. I want you to keep this specific moment in your back pocket, because feeding Ramu isn't just a random plot point. It's a massive thematic anchor for the whole story, proving how good deeds compound over time. Which leads us right into the ordeal phase of Kushal's journey. Section 3, jealousy and false accusations. Modi's jealousy boils over into a highly dangerous conspiracy to destroy Kushal for good. Let's walk through exactly how they set this trap, because it's terrifyingly simple. First, using the chaotic station crowd as cover, Modi's buddy Panchu secretly slips a stolen, super expensive mobile phone directly into Kushal's china bag. Second, Modi waits for the absolute perfect moment and raises a loud, fake alarm, pointing his finger straight at Kushal. Finally, the CRPF officers rush over, tear through Kushal's belongings, and pull the stolen phone right out of his bag. You can just feel the emotional gravity here. Look at Kushal's plea. I don't know how this got here. Someone is trying to frame me. I mean, this is his darkest hour. The crowd immediately turns on him. Modi is standing there gloating,
and the officers are preparing to drag him off to jail. Despite his absolute innocence and back-breaking hard work, Kushal is facing massive public humiliation and imminent arrest. It just goes to show how incredibly vulnerable an honest person can be when framed by corrupt forces.
But hey, the story doesn't end in tragedy. Let's shift gears to a much more triumphant tone for Section 4, Victory of Goodness and Truth. This is where we see how the universe, or rather poetic justice, steps in to repay Kushal. So, the crucial point here is, remember Ramu? The beggar Kushal selflessly fed? Well, he steps right out of that angry crowd. He boldly stops the officers and declares Kushal is innocent because he literally watched Panchu plant the phone. When Modi tries to brush him off as just a crazy beggar, Ramu brilliantly demands the officers check the station's CCTV footage. An act of pure empathy became the literal shield that saved Kushal from total ruin. The fallout is immediate and incredibly satisfying. The CCTV footage completely clears Kushal's name. The trap totally backfires, and Modi and Panchu are the ones hauled off to jail for conspiracy. But what's even better? Surviving this crazy trial actually elevates Kushal. His reputation for honesty skyrockets among the daily passengers, which allows him to finally expand his simple basket operation into a respected, permanent little stall. Yet, to fully transform his destiny, Kushal has to face one last massive hurdle. Section 5, Final Challenge and Mega Success. Because as we know, climbing out of poverty isn't just a single victory. It requires overcoming layers of physical, mental, and sometimes even vindictive obstacles. Let's move on and see how this builds across 3 incredible milestones. Step 1. Those late-night study sessions pay off in a big way. He tops his 12th grade district exams and actually earns a scholarship. Step 2. He clears the insanely competitive CRPF written exam. But Step 3 is the real kicker. On the very day of his physical running test, he is brutally attacked on the road. It's a revenge plot, orchestrated by Modi's associates who just got out of jail. Bleeding, heavily injured, and having completely missed his bus, Kushal manages to drag himself to the camp late. When the officer takes one look at him and tells him to just go home, Kushal delivers this absolute bombshell of a line. "I am ready to die, but not to lose." He begs for just one chance. Driven by the memory of his mother's tears and his father's helpless hopes, a battered Kushal runs the race of his absolute life. He pushes way past his breaking point and crosses that finish line at the very last possible second. And guess what? He passed, which brings our explainer to its emotional peak. We have reached the return, the final stage of the hero's journey. Section 6, An Officer's Grand Return. The wheel of time turns and Kushal comes back to the exact place his journey began, but completely transformed. Just look at this staggering 180-degree shift in his destiny. On the left, where he started, a poor, vulnerable boy, falsely framed as a thief, crying and begging for his innocence. And on the right, where he stands today, a fully decorated CRPF officer stepping off the train as the new station in charge. He is now highly respected, powerful, and the ultimate protector of the very platforms he used to walk barefoot. As he steps off that train in uniform, the very first person he recognizes is Ramu the beggar. The station personnel are saluting him. He looks right at the spot where Modi used to harass people, and Kushal promises Ramu that under his watch, no honest, hard-working person will ever face injustice or humiliation at this station again. His victory wasn't just a personal escape from poverty. It fundamentally changed the entire ecosystem of that railway station for the better. Which leaves us with this final, lingering thought to wrap things up. Is your honesty your greatest strength? Kushal's wild journey from selling chickpeas to commanding the station proves that while the path of truth might be the absolute hardest one to walk, its destination is undeniably beautiful. I challenge you to reflect on this. In the face of your own overwhelming obstacles, do you possess that same unyielding integrity? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.